Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing today, man? And listen, the the message today is sacrifice, and the reading of God's word is Hebrews 13:16. But do not forget to do good and to share, for with such sacrifices God is well pleased. And I know when I first came to salvation, right, back in '94, I was probably still pretty selfish, So to give of anything wasn't easy to do. I had, there were people around me that God placed in my life that kind of led the way and showed me how to begin to do that, right? Now, many years later, 27, 28 years later, one of the most valuable things we could give is our time. Because once you give it, you can't never get it back, right? And in order to give of your time, it's going to take a lot of sacrifice in a lot of areas. I'm going to read this again. Hebrews 13:16. But do not forget to do good and to share, for with such sacrifices God is well pleased. And God has brought me to a place today where I routinely forego a lot of activity in order to be available to a community that He's placed me in, right? And oftentimes a lot of people who care about me and I care about them, they don't always understand why I'm not willing to go do something that they think we should do. But I need to stay focused on what God has called me to do, right? And when you get to that point where you're able to sacrifice doing things that you enjoy in order to be available, because inevitably a phone call is going to come in when it's least expected, at a very inconvenient time. And if you're not willing to give up what you were doing, then it's not going to work out too well, And it took many years, man. I haven't done it perfectly, and even still today, sometimes, man, it's just like, man, But we have to keep moving forward, right? And continually work on what can we sacrifice, right? Because it's not just our time, but that's a huge one. That's the one that is the hardest for everyone. Because family, jobs, things that we in our personal lives think are important are hard to forgo though. Hard to forgo those things. But in order to be available to God's calling, we're going to have to sacrifice a lot of that stuff in order to be available. Let me read it one more time. Hebrews 13:16. But do not forget to do good and to share, for with such sacrifices God is well pleased. And I pray that God continues to work in me, right? Through His Word, He continues to change my heart, right? With each step, I pray that I continue to go forward. And, at this point in my life, I have sacrificed a lot of things in order to answer the calling that He's placed on my life. It's absolutely the most important thing. There is no other pursuit in my life. If you know me, the only thing that matters to me is that I'm available and I'm on a mission. And part of that's been allowing God to stand me up at a trash can called "Come to the Table," right? It's a very casual atmosphere, no pressure, nothing, man. But God has shown me how to love people and how to lead them into relationship with Him at a trash can. It's so simple. It's the simplicity of it. It's unbelievable. Only God could have came up with it, right? So that's the message today, man. Sacrifice. And what are we willing to sacrifice in order to answer the calling God places on each of our lives, right? So I pray that until I draw my last breath, that I continue to move forward, that I continue to sacrifice things in order to be available for His glory, right? And I pray that people around me will want to move towards the same goals, right? I work here at Chapel Springs Church. I go to church here. I pray that somebody will feel something here, want to act on it, and meet me here at the 9 a.m. service one Sunday morning, or at Bible study at 7 p.m. It's 11,500 New Life Way, Bristow, Virginia. And to come to a church service, you'll sacrifice about an hour and a half of your time. To come to Bible study, you'll sacrifice about an hour of your time. It'll be time well spent. You know what I'm talking about, brother? All right, man, I love you guys. Have a great day.